The family structure in Uganda has drastically changed over the years, and not just Uganda, the world in general. Now we have homes that are headed by, either widows, single moms, or even just children themselves. And we beg to ask the question, where are the fathers? Well, in the UK, 10.3% of all fathers and 5% of all men don't leave or raise their own children. In the US, 20.2% of 7 million men do not participate in parenting their own children. And in Uganda, according to the Uganda National Household Survey of 2016-2017, it said that 31% of households are headed by single mothers, or rather females, and about 18% by children under the age of 18 years old. I saw something that triggered me on social media, and that is why we're talking about it today. And it said, also normalize telling kids the truth about their absent fathers from a young age. So I asked this question on our social media. Should kids be told the truth about their absent fathers from a young age? Should we tell them? Should we tell them your father is a deadbeat, your father left us, your father does not provide school fees, your father does not care for your existence? Should we tell the children this brutal truth? My name is Apollo Sarah, and welcome to our views. Thank you for staying tuned. If you want to be a part of our conversation, all you have to do is head on to our social media across all platforms, and that's at CTV Uganda. And I am joined by the ladies, Sandra Kopp and Shivan Alma. Ladies, let's dive into this. Should we tell children the truth about their absent fathers?
Of course. I think we should. Why not? I mean, they chose not to be there. So why not tell the children? I think we should tell them.
No.
Yes, I think we should tell them. It depends.
Expound.
It
Tell
depends
them
on the age
what
bracket.
Do they do with this
It depends on the
information?
age bracket of the child.
Yes.
Yes, but you tell them in a way that they can absorb, comprehend. Yes, because why should we tell them? Exactly, that's what you're saying. Because once you tell them, they'll stop pestering you all the time. Where's daddy? Where's daddy? Where's daddy? He'll understand that, you know what, daddy does not want to be part of this equation. He does not want to be part of this family. I am your mommy and I'm your daddy at this point. It's you and me, or you and us, and yes, let's do this and let's move on from this, because they're going to keep circling back and circling back. Of course, the way in which you tell them has to be very sensitive to their age bracket.
Yes.
Yes. The way you're going to talk to a 6-year-old is not the way you're going to speak to a 16-year-old. So you have to take that into account.
Yes.
But yes, I think you should tell them.
But don't you think by telling them you're also shooting yourself in the foot, because your children may judge you for having picked the wrong father?
You know, and that, let me tell you, not only your children, but society judges. Society judges the mothers, yet they are the ones who stayed. It just blows my mind. You get judged, yet you are the parent who stayed, the parent who looks after this child each and every day. But they don't judge the guy who walked away. They do to an extent, but everything, most of the things is you. Yes, you will get judged, and it's bound to happen. You just have to learn how to navigate through that and to speak, learn to speak. When you get judged, don't become defensive.
Yes.
You know, point out this and this and that, but I'm taking care of this. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm doing my best.
Yes.
I'm not perfect, but I am here. I am present, and I am trying. So,
yes.
Yes.
What about you, Shivan?
Absolutely not. Children need to be allowed to enjoy their being a child and being innocent. As crazy as that might sound, or you might say, stop burying your head in the sand. The truth of the matter is, this person is a child. You do not know the impact of telling the child that, you know what, the truth of the matter is that your father doesn't want you anymore, or your father is upset because, you know, he did not want to have you, or, you know, you have a deadbeat father. No, you do not know what impact that could have on your child. For very many children out there, especially for the girl children, the reason as to why they do not even relate well with men is because they had absent fathers. They have, you want to allow children to just be children. You want to allow children to just enjoy their innocence while they still can. While it may be very frustrating to continue concocting lie after lie, you have got to keep up an organized and strong front for your child. Be the strong one. Yes, the father is not there, but you're the mom. You're there. You're present. So tell him or her that, well, Dad is not around. He went away or he traveled, forge up something. I'm not a very good liar, but man, you have to think of something.
Yes.
But do not allow yourself in a situation where you're telling your child the reason as to why your father is not here is because he doesn't want to be a part of this family. Then your child will start doubting himself. That goes back to low self-esteem. That goes back to depression. Let's look at the stats. The other day, Richard Hand Uganda did a survey, and they say that over 60% of the children that experience low self-esteem is because of the fact that their mothers told them the truth of the matter is your father did not want you.
But don't you think that takes away a sense of accountability for the father?
Exactly, I think it does.
Are you not being also problematic in this situation?
Here's the thing. This could go two ways. You might tell your child and they'll be like, they might understand it. Or you might tell your child and they'll blame you for it. For very many children, they'll say, you should be the reason why daddy left. Because guess what?
Yes.
The father did not leave the child. He left you for a reason.
Yes.
You might find their fathers who will leave the home and continue providing, or even go and abscond completely.
Yes.
So you have to gauge. There is really a thin line, because it could turn out very sour for you. The child might hate you all their lives because they're thinking, oh, you're the reason as to why daddy left. You're probably the reason as to why daddy doesn't even want to come back home. What happened? Am I not good enough? So for me, it goes back to the aspect of analyzing and understanding the environment, understanding your child. And again, I will say this. Allow your child to enjoy their innocence.
How can they enjoy?
By not telling them certain things that they do not deserve to know now.
But let's also
feel
yes.
that when it comes to an absent father, you can tell the child when they are above 18, they're able now to comprehend. But even 18 might be a little too old, probably about 15, 16, 17, but at the age of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you're telling your child that the reason as to why your father is not here is because he doesn't want to be here. No, you're literally psychologically damaging the child's mind in relation to men. And these are the reasons as to why for very many girls and for boys who have had absent fathers, they react and think a certain way.
Yes.
That's
Well,
just
let
the
us
way
be
it is.
a lot more objective here, because also there are mothers who do walk out
Yes,
on their
they do.
children and leave their kids alone with the father or another relatives. Well, there are many forms of parents, of children being parentless, or let me say fatherless or motherless. Number one, death. About 1 out of 10 children lose one parent by the age of 15 years old. And then about the percentage keeps on increasing as they get to 18 years old. And it says that about 15 children have lost at least both parents by the time they get to 18, the age of 18. But let us look at some of the detrimental consequences of not having fathers in the house. Number one. A responsible father in the home promotes, when fathers are not in the house, their daughters are more likely to engage in risky behavior with men. And their sons are more likely to either drop out of school or get addicted to drugs. So, ladies, Shivad, you are so passionate about not telling children. So how do you bridge that gap
Between
a child and their father when the father is not around? How do you bridge that gap? You're not going to keep making excuses forever.
No,
your
cannot
your
make
dad is not going to
excuses
keep
forever.
traveling forever. I mean,
Up to
COVID.
when he's 15.
Up to when he's 15.
He's still traveling.
you have got to find a way. But for me, I would figure out a way. You definitely have to figure out a way, because at the end of the day, you want what's best for your child. And trust me, when it comes to kids, they will keep asking, where is daddy? Where is daddy? They'll constantly bug you. However, it goes back to holding your front. Keep the good work that you're doing when the time is right. And somehow, by the way, the truth will always come out. But also, I think it is very important that when an absent father is involved in the picture, or when an absent mother is involved in the picture, you make sure that your child doesn't hear it from someone else.
But on the way that you're saying, Shivan, is keep it going, hold this front. The way you're doing it, somebody else will come and tell them, because you're stalling. He's traveling, she's here, she's there. And kids kids can read between the line. You have to give them credit for it. Kids are smart. You tell him that when he's like 5 or by 8, he would have figured it out.
Yeah.
And he's going to resent you for lying to him or her. And what you'd be teaching him or her is to be a pathological liar, because he's going to see through your lies.
He or she will resent me for lying, but I will have protected him or her. I will have done my part as a mother, which is to protect your innocence, which is to protect your emotional intelligence, which is to protect you as a child. I am allowing you be a child. There are certain things we cannot tell children, because then we are robbing them of their youthhood, of their being children. You cannot, for example, tell your child, there are certain things, there are even conversations that we cannot have in front of our children, because then you're robbing them of being a child. So for me, it goes back to allow your child be the child. You may have issues with the father and mother, and that is okay. When the time is right, you could probably tell them. However, when it comes to a certain age, I do not think it is right for you to come out front and say, the reason as to why your daddy is not here is because they don't want to be here.
But they don't want to be.
But they
here.
don't want to be here.
Yes, but it's not the right time to tell them.
When is the right? No.
Well, there have been a number of reasons as to why sometimes one parent may walk out of the life of the child. One, avoiding emotions. There could be a bitter breakup or separation between the couples. And then one is avoiding the emotion or avoiding the frustration of having to deal with this person. And they're like, you know what? I'd rather sacrifice that child, let them go, and let me start another family. Another reason, actually, the main reason, is finances. And this is especially for men. For women, it's funny, statistics don't show that women run away from their kids because of finances. The men, it's finances, because I don't have money. You know, one thing I really don't understand about parenting, and perhaps you could correct me, is how you bring a child, knowingly bring a child into this world, because many people conceive and give birth, you know, in different ways. But I'm talking about the person who consciously laid down with somebody. It resulted into a pregnancy. And now you're saying, apana, this is too much. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? No, like seriously, I think there's something wrong with you, because let's now start taking into account. Now, let's not even talk about telling the child. It's about you as an individual, as a decent human being. The most that you can do is take responsibility for it. And a lot of people don't think, and this is parents, they think that your ultimate role as a parent is to provide financially, which is absolutely wrong. Sometimes your children don't want gifts or toys, because I saw a quote that says some parents are going to overcompensate for their lack of presents with presents. Yeah, presents with presents. Don't do that, because now you're teaching your child something else. You have to teach them. You're not going to put them in a situation where they feel that they're going to have to be rewarded all the time. They get entitled, they get spoiled. On top of that, they're going to think that that is a form of love, that it's okay to give me money. You've heard of girls that say, you give me money, I don't care what you do with your life. Those are probably people who had absent parents in their lives.
That's so true. But there's something I want to point out. While you were talking, it actually hit my mind, and I thought to myself, if you honestly are pushed to the situation where you must tell your child that there is an absent father, maybe, I'm just saying maybe, because I'm not foretelling, but if you are foretelling, think backtrack and ask yourself, what is the reason as to why you're telling your child? Are you doing it to make your child completely hate their father as well, because you do not like the man, so you want your child to hate the dad as well? Or are you doing it in a way that you want your child to know that the reason as why dad is not here is because he just doesn't simply want to be here, but it doesn't mean they do not love you. So my question is, as a mother,
but they don't love you if they're not present.
My question is, as a mother or as a father, as you're telling your child that there is an absent father, there is an absent mother, they do not want to be here, are you trying to tarnish the child's mind against them?
No.
Or are you actually wanting the child to know that the reason as to why your father is not here is because they do not want to be here, and that is, you will judge, like, I've left it to you, I've told you, choose what you want to do. Do you want to be in contact with your father, or or do you want to still remain with me? You understand that sort of situation. Like, let your child decide for themselves if they want to be able to reach out to their dad or if they do not want. But don't tell them in a way whereby you're not even allowing them to reach out to their father. Yes, the father may not want to be in their lives, but the child may want to contact the father. So provide that avenue. So it all goes back to the question. As you're telling, why are you telling? What is pushing
motive?
you to tell? What is the motive?
For closure. I would say for closure.
Yeah.
Because young children, they want that sense of belongingness.
Yes.
Yes? Where is my father? Where does he come from? So tell
Where
them.
do
Tell
I
them
belong?
as much as you can about their father. You're not telling them out of malice. That, like I said, there's a way in which you package that information to the different age groups. But let me tell you, when you have this conversation with your child when they're young, you're not going to have it once. You're going to tell them, okay, dad is not here because he didn't want to stay with us. It doesn't mean he doesn't love you or this and this and that. And you're going to have that. But the older they grow, the more inquisitive they get. So you're going to have this conversation many times, and the next time you're going to tell them a little bit more according to what they can handle.
Yes.
Then by the time they get to 17, they have already figured it out. They have seen what happens in other families. They have watched movies. They get the drift.
True.
So you're not going to have this conversation once, but you're going to tell them when they are little, for them to get that closure and also to get that sense of belongingness. Tell them about their father. Tell them the good things about their father. So that they know, even when they are talking to their friends, oh, my father is an engineer, or my father, let them know. Yes, because that's what they want to know. So keep them at a need-to-know basis and just manage that information as they grow older. It's not a conversation you'll have once.
Well, I would like to share some tips on how, as a parent, you can tell your child about their absent parent. And let's not just keep it to absent fathers, because they're also absent mothers. So number one, be proactive. Don't let your child lack or feel left out because they don't have the other parent. For instance, if it is a father-daughter dance at school, you know, you could ask, say, a positive role model in your life or her life, say, for instance, an uncle or the grandfather, or, you know, somebody you care about, on who loves her, to represent, you know, and be that father figure in her life. Or sometimes just get them another parent, a step parent. It's also part of being proactive. Number two, honesty. Tell your child their story. Tell them the story about their father or their mother, the other parent who is not there. Tell them and let them know about the good things that happened, you know, and let them keep that that innocent or little, it's not a lie per se, but just keep that truth alive and be honest about it. Tell your children about their other parent, where they come from, what they do, like Sandra said. Number three, don't lie. Don't tell lies, because at the end of the day, when they get older, you're going to have to face that lie and tell them the truth. And regardless or not, it's never easy to tell your child about the absence of another parent. It's never easy, whether the parent passed away, whether the other parent just doesn't want anything to do with them, whether you don't even know who the other parent is, because some women don't even know who the fathers of their children are. Let's be very honest. But don't tell them lies. Number four, reassure them that their dad's absence or the other parent's absence has nothing to do with them. Moving on, talk positively about the other parent. Shower them with praise and so much good light, so that your child can feel and absorb that and feel that, oh, perhaps I am I'm very talented at something, at sports, because my father was talented at sports. Like, give them something to hold on. Just a little hope. Number three, the next one is keep revisiting the story. Don't be dismissive. When the child asks and they're inquisitive, just keep on telling them the story as many times as they want. And then the next one is use photos and memories. It's important to show your children who the other parent is. If you have any pictures, share those with them. And then lastly, go at their speed. Don't ask them to forget. Don't ask them to, don't force them to hang on to that hope. Go at their speed. Let them dictate how they want to handle the situation. And let's have some social media responses. The first one comes in from Saidat, and she says, my problem is when my kids used to ask me about him. I would portray him like an amazing father because I didn't want to create bitterness in their little hearts. I don't know if it was right or the wrong thing, but now he's no longer absent. In January this year, he showed up and started being present. Wow. I love to hear happy endings to situations like this. Our next response comes in from Ruth, and she says, I think we can ease them into the information. That starts with not making excuses when they don't show up or drop the ball. You explain it to your child in a language that they understand. Truth-telling also charts the path for redemption. If ever it's a path that the other person wants to take on later, that is the other parent who has not been around, well, you can make excuses. She says, I'm sorry, I beg your pardon. She says, when you make excuses, you take accountability away from them and you become the person who the child blames. Absolutely. So don't take away accountability from the other parent. If they are not around, they are not around. But also leave room for redemption and, leave a big door open so that when the other person wants to come back and, be a part of their child's life, there is no bitterness, there is no resentment, especially from the child. Not you, the child. And then Baxter goes on to say, though it's advisable for parents to not involve children in their misunderstandings, even if the other parent is evil, you don't tell that to your children. If anything, you try to cleanse and ease the situation. Even lie about it, because children need to be protected until a certain age, because Baxter is here agreeing with Shivan. She's like, around 13 there you can tell them the truth, but still don't full swing that your dad is not around and doesn't want to be a part of your life. And then lastly, Ramla goes on to say, well, truth can be tailored for ages, so yes, you can find a way to tell your kids about the situation. However, it's always advisable not to lie to them. Do not tell lies, because the truth always comes out, and then now they're going to even be more upset that you lied. There's this clip I watched with Iyanla Fix My Life. I don't know if you've watched it.
Yes.
Well, this woman kept her daughters away from their father because she told the daughters that when he was younger, he was sexually abusing them.
Was this true?
It was not true.
Oh my God.
So she instilled those lies into her daughters so that they could hate the father. Imagine that. So please, ladies, let us do right by our children. It doesn't matter how we feel about the other parent, and also fathers, please, it doesn't matter how you feel about the other parent. It's about your child. But I am for telling them. But like Ramla says, there is age-appropriate information that you can share with them. Okay? Keep the hope alive of the other parent if they're not dead. Even if they are dead and, deceased, please keep their memory alive in their child, because believe it or not, children need both parents, and that is the most appropriate and the best environment to raise a child. Well, that's all I had for you on this segment of Our Views. Coming up is Sandra Kopp with the next topic. Don't blink.